Looks like Class 5 here as we get rolling through things. First one to ring is that Kendall Vandevort Gilt from Montana. That's a whatever it takes two-face Gilt. Gilt there is actually bred by Ethan Wells from Indiana. Ethan, good young Berkshire breeder there. It actually works for us at Crossroads. Stayed back to kind of run shop while we were out here. It's a real good job. That one's got a real good mom behind her.
I'm pretty sure that Vandevort family either left to Des Moines last year with Grander Reserve Berkshire Gilt.
Yeah, they did, and that was, I think, also a Gilt that I think she come from Heimer, I think. And maybe I'm wrong on that, but Ethan did tell me that family sold one for pretty good money out here last year. And that Gilt went straight to the pen, too.
We're going to take all the Gilts out of Class 4 for tomorrow's sale. Next Gilt we got in the ring here, 895-5. Jayce and Collin Vrbka from Shelby, Nebraska. The whatever it takes Cadillac Gilt, born December 2nd. That one's going straight to the pen as well.
Like 11 signed up for this class as well. These are the early December Gilts. It's like a pretty short spread here, about December 1st through the 5th.
Got Gilt you're seeing on the center of your screen, and now Rourke Sisters, Iowa City, Iowa. A Top Gun Superfly Gilt, December 3rd born. Another Gilt that's been rather successful here on the Iowa circuit.
That 871.5 Gilt's going to find herself a pin too. Jacob Renzenchik from Texas. Speak for yours, left shark. Again, I'd say another Conover pedigree.
I'd say that's a pretty safe assumption there.
Might learn a thing or two about Berkshires before we're done yet.
Looks like those are all our entries for Class 5. Got 3 penned and 7 out here in the ring so far. 826.5's taking pen 4. Tyler Forehand, Denton, Texas, with the Monopoly Wanted Gilt. $854.5 goes in pen 5. Landon Lehrwald, Texas, another whatever it takes Gilt. Catches pen 5. John taking some time to confer with Brad on several of these decisions here in the Berkshire Gilt show. Obviously an opinion that John respects. guys notice some of these gilts not wanting to cooperate in the ring today. For those of you that aren't here in Des Moines, it's about 90 degrees here this week. Not a lot of air movement going through this barn. We got the big-ass fans going on, but still a lot of pigs, a lot of people. Awfully warm in here today.
Yeah, especially this afternoon. Your last couple of days, it couldn't ask for much better weather, but definitely heating up today, and I think through the weekend going to be pretty hot.
891.5, Kendall Van Horn of Oklahoma is catching a pen, as well as the Rourke sisters Gilt 874-5, going in 6 and 7 respectively.
Looks John's got most of that class lined up and probably going to work about 3 or 4 here, it looks like.
8th, we got a Dornbeer Gilt, Andrew Dornbeer, the Monopoly Gunslinger Gilt, goes in 8. Holden Van de Voort's going to go in 10. So we got his sister here in 1 and Holden in 10.
Gilt there across your screen at 893.5 Gilt. That whatever it takes two-face Gilt. Like I said, bred by Ethan Wells there in Indiana. That one's a big stout, opened up one. 895.5 is going to get dropped out into the mix next. Jayce and Collin Vrbka. Sorry if we butcher these names along the way.
There's a lot of consonants in a row there.
Yeah, it was. From Nebraska, that's a whatever it takes Gilt. We've also got 826.5 out here. It's going to be Tyler Forehand from Texas. That's a Monopoly Gilt. And then the 871.5, Jacob Rizanek from Texas. Speak for yours, that Conover bred Gilt.
Now, after announcing the results for the Team Purebred Junior Gilt Show, I know this 895 Gilt here was one that I said off at the top of her class, or near the top of her class, in our junior show here on Wednesday. Really nice big-bodied gilt, stout featured. It's got some extension, certainly in play here.
Right. You know, it's a good opportunity for these junior kids that, travel this far and come here, to have the opportunity to show these gilts again and sell them. And, try to reimburse themselves on some expense, and then, most importantly, he can make these things available to the breeders. So, it looks like that gilt that you just mentioned, Ben, is going to win this particular class, and here's Mr. Hinker to tell us why.
Kind of an intriguing class of gilts here, and I got one to land on that we're pretty comfortable with, a really good sculled gilt, and she hits the ground fairly square, really balances up, really goes with good mobility, really safe kind of gilt, still feminine, still stout enough, not as long a hipped as our gilt and strided as our gilt in second, but one that had a little more center body, a little more true shape to her in terms of just putting that raw shape in there, really had probably a little more feminine of an underline. I like the total balance and package that one has. Really like the length of body. This is a big old horsey sow that has got a lot of value. I'd like to secure her from the hock to the ground better, but she has the length of stride that it takes. She gets out there and reaches farther. She's not perfect there, but really length of stride, length of side. She's got a big old tail root to her. That sow is going to get bigger, and she's going to have the ability to generate something for somebody, I believe. 871, a little smaller package, square in the corners. You like that? She's heavy in her skeleton. She's got a good muscle shape. I didn't think she was quite as long in her hip, not quite as long in her body as maybe the two gilts that beat her. Another gilt here that's a little longer. I like that about her. She's deep in her body cavity. She closes up a little bit coming at you. Maybe just like to change her from the hock to the ground as well. I like to see her plant and push just a little bit better to move her any higher, maybe make her vulva just a nickel bigger. A young man's gilt here is a real balanced gilt. She's really thick. She has a lot of femininity to her underline. She's relatively sound. Just a little more quicker in her maturity. I read her out through the neck and area, but a good balanced gilt there that a young man needs to be proud of. She's stepping forward like they need to be. She's got natural spread up high and down low that you have to like. Real big dimension gilt here. Just gets too tight. I'd like to see your gilt move out. and just get out there and go. She's really bulky. She's long in her side. She's really got a lot of dimension. Just needs to be freer moving. Round out the class here. You can let them both out. Gilts that just need to be a little looser in their structure. This gilt here, like to change her rear leg set to her. She's good enough through her shoulder blade, down her top. It just needs to be looser, longer out through that hip. Let's give this group a good hand for a nice competitive class of Berkshire females.
Here are the results of Class 5 in our Berkshire show. Your class winner was Jayce and Collin Vrbka, Shelby, Nebraska, 895.5. Second in the class, Tyler Forehand, Denton, Texas, 826.5. Third, Jacob Resnick, Kaufman, Texas, 871.5. Fourth in the class, Kendall Vandevort, Billings, Montana, 893-5. Fifth in the class, Landon Lorwold of Florence, Texas, 854.5. The top 7 gilts out of Class 5 made the sale. The top 7.